Hello, everybody. Welcome to week two in microeconomics. The plan for today is to do another brief agenda video, followed by a video for chapter three. And I've got this week's agenda in front of us. Where's my little pen here? Oh, where's my little pen? Okay. Don't forget that Thursday, October the 1st, in Slave Lake is NLC's Business Department's Professional Development Day. And this is probably one of the best opportunities of the year for students to get to meet each other face to face. There's another PD Day in the spring. I think it's early in March. I don't quite have the agenda yet for the October 1st event, but it is a good chance for students to meet face to face. And that's kind of fun. And it's fun for instructors to meet students as well, and vice versa. Okay, second little point is, it looks like most students are getting a hang of how to use the publisher's website and how to do the QuizMes and how to do the quizzes. As we typically experience at this time of the year, we tend to have a few glitches. I forgot to mention, I should have mentioned this last week, that in order for some of the questions on the publisher's website to display properly on your screen, your screen has to allow pop-ups from the publisher's website, and sometimes it's cookies as well. So I know some of you have had this have had this issue, and if I had been smarter, I would have showed you how to fix this. So I have to admit, on my machine, I use Chrome, and I suspect the publisher's website works with Internet Explorer, but I don't use Internet Explorer unless I absolutely have to. And so I have some directions here on how to adjust your screen if you're using Chrome. And so these instructions come from the Pearson website, and I've used it several times. So if you're trying to navigate on the publisher's website and something just doesn't appear that you think that should be appearing, you might have this little error message up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. And if you do, I think all you need to do is click on this little button, click on this little error message, and then it'll ask you, will you allow pop-ups from the publisher's website? And then you click yes, and then done, and then you should be good. There are some other techniques for doing this, but to me that's the easiest one, because I think it sets your machine sort of permanently. Some of you have not been having any problems, so that's good, but I know that some of you have, so there is a way around it. If you're using Internet Explorer or you're using another browser, I guess I would suggest switching to Chrome for the purposes of this course, because the publisher's website has these instructions on how to fix your machine for Chrome. I don't know if it has it for the other browsers or not. Anyways, okay, so what else was I going to mention here? Okay, so don't forget that your assignment number 3 is due on Sunday, September the 13th, 1 minute before midnight. So it covers chapter 3, and of course we're doing chapter 3 in class this week. And then your first quiz, also on the publisher's website, is due on Sunday, September 27th. So that's going to cover chapters 1 to 4 plus chapter 6, not chapter 5. We're throwing chapter 5 into the second quiz. And so there's 5 parts there, 1 part corresponding to each one of the chapters. Okay, so this week we're off to chapter 3, demand and supply economics. I always call it supply and demand. I don't know, the authors call it demand and supply. S&D kind of rolls off my tongue a little bit easier than D and S. Anyway, supply and demand. And next week we're off to chapters 4 and 6, and they kind of go together as a pair, because they deal with the so-called elasticities of demand and supply. And you'll find out about that stuff to no end next week. Okay, then the final thing that I was going to bring to your attention is I came across an interesting video that I thought might be of interest to you because it ties in with chapter 3. And I've posted this video to Moodle at the bottom of topic 2, which topic 2 is is the topic we're in this week, chapter 3. And the video is called "Humans Need Not Apply." And I would, if you're interested in looking at this, I would suggest watching it after you've reviewed the material for chapter 3, because you'll be able to apply some of the concepts from chapter 3 to the contents. So this video, I mean, as we'll get to in today's chapter. Today we're talking about supply and demand curves, and we talk about how demand curves can shift horizontally due to changes in non-price factors. And a common non-price factor, especially on the supply side, is changes in technology. And this little video is about how contemporary technology is affecting the demand for labor. So when we look at chapter 3 today, and we're looking at the principles of supply and demand, we're really looking at the principles of supply and demand as they apply to finished product markets, really to consumer markets. However, the principles of supply and demand, these are economic principles, and they apply equally to finished product markets as they do to input markets or resource markets or factors of production. I like to call them factors of production. And as I mentioned before, as you'll see, especially in macroeconomics next term, if you're taking macro next term, is that the dominant factor of production in our economy is labor. And this video is really about how modern technology is replacing the need for labor, not just in the traditional industrial type economy, but in the modern information based economy. So it's really quite interesting. Well, at least I find it quite interesting. I can't speak for you. And so what we're going to see, although the video, it is kind of an economics type video, the fellow does not apply any of the concepts that we're going to be using today, supply and demand. He's not going to apply them in the graphical way that we will. So what we're going to see today, we're going to draw little charts, and we're going to draw, I see, demand curve. So we're going to have price on the y-axis, we're going to have quantity on the x-axis, and we're going to have demand 1, and then we're going to have demand curve number 2, and the demand curve is going to shift horizontally to the left. We're going to have a reduction in demand due to some change in some non-price factor. And in this little video, although in this chapter we don't talk about factors of production in the factors market, the principles of changing demand apply equally to factors of production as it does in the consumer goods market. So in this video is going to show that we're having this technological change, and that's going to be reducing the demand for labor, so that effectively the demand curve for labor is in the process of shifting to the left. Anyways, it's kind of a fine application of the concept of changes in non-price factors shifting the demand and supply curves. Although I have to admit, the video is not necessarily fun. You might find the video somewhat terrifying. But anyways, it's all. Personally, I think it's a little bit pessimistic, but what the heck? That's just my opinion. Anyways, so that's it. That's the plan for the week. So now we'll go off to chapter 3, and I'll create a separate video for that.